Admiral Yi Sun-sin, The Unseen Struggles of Korea's Nelson through his war diary. Imagine a leader, a commander, who achieved an undefeated record in over 20 major naval battles against an enemy far superior in numbers and resources. Imagine this same leader, time and again, facing not only the relentless external foe but also the insidious betrayal and mistrust of his own government, enduring imprisonment, torture, and demotion to a common soldier. Yet through it all, he persisted, securing his nation's survival. This is not a work of fiction. This is the astounding, yet often globally unrecognized, story of Admiral Yi Sun-sin, a name whispered with reverence across Korea, and a figure whose strategic brilliance and profound human struggles arguably surpass those of many celebrated Western counterparts, including the legendary Admiral Horatio Nelson. We are about to embark on a journey into the heart of the Imjin War, Imjin War, the brutal Japanese invasions of Korea from 1592 to 1598. But this is not merely a tale of naval warfare and tactical genius. It is a deeply personal narrative, unearthed from a singular, extraordinary document, Yi Sun-sin's war diary known as the Nanjung Ilgi. This remarkable collection of daily entries, a UNESCO Memory of the World Register, offers an intimate window into the mind and soul of a man burdened with the fate of his nation. It is through these candid pages, written under the dim light of oil lamps amidst the chaos of war, that we truly grasp the human anguish and internal conflicts that forged one of history's most resilient leaders. For many in the Western world, the name Horatio Nelson immediately conjures images of daring naval victories, strategic brilliance, and unwavering patriotism. His triumph at Trafalgar, his famous signal, "England expects that every man will do his duty," are etched into the annals of military history. Nelson was undoubtedly a colossal figure, a strategic genius who defied convention and consistently achieved the impossible. But what if I told you there existed a commander in the East who faced even greater political adversity from within his own ranks, operated with a fraction of the resources, and yet maintained an equally, if not more, impeccable undefeated record? What if his personal writings laid bare a soul wrestling with grief, betrayal, and profound isolation, yet never wavering from his singular purpose, the defense of his homeland? This video will delve deep into the Nanjung Ilgi, not just to recount Yi Sun-sin's legendary battles, but to explore the raw, emotional landscape of his existence. We will unpack the layers of his human struggles, his physical ailments, his anguish over his family, his frustrations with a corrupt court, and the sheer psychological weight of responsibility for an entire nation. By examining these profound internal conflicts, we will understand how they shaped his leadership and decision-making, transforming him from a brilliant tactician into a symbol of unwavering integrity and resilience. This isn't just Korean history, it's a universal story of what it means to lead, to suffer, and to triumph against all conceivable odds. Get ready to discover the unseen struggles that forged Korea's greatest admiral, a figure who truly deserves his place among the pantheon of global military legends. His is a legacy that resonates far beyond the Joseon dynasty, speaking directly to the human spirit's capacity for endurance and the timeless pursuit of justice. The tale of Admiral Yi Sun-sin is inextricably linked to the Imjin War, a conflict that plunged the Joseon dynasty into an existential crisis. To understand Yi, we must first understand the world he inhabited, a world poised on the precipice of utter destruction. The year 1592 marked the beginning of a 7-year nightmare for Korea. Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the ambitious unifier of Japan, set his sights beyond his islands, dreaming of conquering China and establishing a vast East Asian empire. His first step was the invasion of Joseon, Korea, a strategic land bridge. Joseon, a kingdom steeped in Confucian scholarly traditions, had enjoyed nearly 2 centuries of relative peace. Its military, particularly its land forces, was woefully unprepared for the scale and brutality of Hideyoshi's seasoned samurai armies. The initial Japanese invasion was swift and devastating. Within weeks, key cities fell, and even the capital, Hansung Hensung, modern-day Seoul, was abandoned by King Seonjo Sunjo and his court, who fled northward. The Korean populace suffered unimaginably, caught between the brutal invaders and a disorganized, fleeing government. Chaos reigned supreme. This was the backdrop against which Yi Sun-sin, a relatively obscure naval commander in the southern provinces, would rise to become the nation's savior. Yi's early career had been fraught with challenges. Unlike many of his peers from the aristocratic Yongbon class, Yi came from a more modest background. He was known for his uncompromising integrity, his strict adherence to military principles, and his refusal to tolerate corruption or incompetence. These qualities, while admirable, often put him at odds with powerful, less scrupulous officials at court, foreshadowing the immense internal political struggles he would face. His appointment as the naval commander for the Jeolla province, a critical region in the south, was a stroke of fate. It was here that he began meticulous preparations, training his men, fortifying his ships, and developing innovative tactics, even as the kingdom slept in a false sense of security. He understood the strategic importance of the sea. If the Japanese could control the sea, they could effortlessly resupply their land armies, transport reinforcements, and effectively bypass Korea's formidable mountain ranges. Joseon's survival hinged on its navy. The Japanese Navy, in contrast, relied on superior numbers, fast ships designed for boarding, and the fearsome reputation of their samurai warriors. Their strategy was to sweep the Korean Navy aside and establish unchallenged maritime dominance. However, they underestimated Yi Sun-sin. He had, even before the invasion, begun the development of the Geobukseon, the famed turtle ship. This innovative vessel, heavily armored with iron plates or thick wooden planks covered with metal spikes, interpretations vary, equipped with multiple cannons and designed to ram and sink enemy ships, was a technological marvel of its time. Its dragon-shaped head could emit smoke, adding psychological terror to its destructive power. Yi's understanding of Korea's intricate coastline, its powerful tides, and narrow straits was unmatched. He saw the sea not just as a battlefield, but as an ally, a complex system of currents and channels that could be leveraged against a less knowledgeable foe. This deep connection to the environment, combined with his strategic foresight and the spirit of his loyal men, would form the crucible in which Korea's fate would be decided. The Nanjung Ilgi provides the raw, unvarnished account of this harrowing period, revealing the immense burden that fell upon one man's shoulders, a burden he carried with unyielding resolve, despite profound personal agony and treacherous political currents. The very first encounters of the Imjin War painted a stark picture of Joseon's desperate plight on land. Cities fell in rapid succession, and the royal court was in disarray. But at sea, a different narrative began to unfold under Admiral Yi Sun-sin's command. His early victories, meticulously documented in his Nanjung Ilgi, were nothing short of miraculous, providing the only glimmer of hope in a darkening sky. At the Battle of Okpo, one of his earliest engagements, Yi's fleet, composed of standard Joseon warships alongside the innovative Geobukseon, surprised a complacent Japanese fleet anchored near the port. He employed meticulous planning and superior firepower, sinking over 40 Japanese vessels without losing a single one of his own. This early success was not a fluke. It was the result of years of disciplined training and preparation. He had developed ingenious tactics such as the Hakikjin or crane wing formation, a crescent-shaped maneuver designed to encircle and overwhelm the enemy. This formation, perfectly executed at the pivotal Battle of Hansan Island, was a masterpiece of naval strategy. He lured the larger Japanese fleet into an open bay, then sprung his trap, devastating them with cannon fire and coordinated attacks. The Nanjung Ilgi records his satisfaction, but also the grim reality of the battle's aftermath, the immense human cost, the desperate need for provisions, and the endless vigilance required. Yet, even as he achieved these crucial victories, saving countless lives and disrupting Japan's vital supply lines, his own government remained a source of immense personal anguish. The Joseon court was riddled with factionalism, jealousy, and corruption. His successes bred suspicion among rivals like Admiral Won Jaeun, an ambitious but incompetent commander who frequently slandered Yi to King Seonjo. These were not mere bureaucratic squabbles, they were life-or-death political battles. In one particularly dark period, he was falsely accused of insubordination and treason, charges orchestrated by his political enemies. He was stripped of his rank, imprisoned in Hansung, and subjected to brutal torture. The Nanjung Ilgi offers chilling, albeit sparse, reflections on this period. He wrote of his pain, his deep sorrow, and his unwavering conviction in his innocence. This moment, when a national hero was subjected to such injustice, profoundly illustrates the concept of Han-Chen, a deep, unresolved sorrow and resentment, a profound sense of injustice that is ingrained in Korean consciousness. Yi's Han was not passive, it fueled his resilience. While he languished in prison, his nemesis, Won Jaeun, was appointed supreme naval commander. What followed was a catastrophe. Won Jaeun, lacking his strategic acumen and leadership, recklessly engaged the Japanese fleet at the Battle of Chilcheolyang. The result was a devastating rout. Almost the entire Joseon fleet, painstakingly built and preserved by Yi, was annihilated. The Japanese were once again masters of the sea, threatening the very heart of the peninsula. This disaster, chronicled in stark contrast to his earlier victories, forced King Seonjo to swallow his pride and recall Yi Sun-sin. Yi, emaciated from prison and suffering from wounds, was reinstated. He was given a fleet of merely 12 ships, just 12 ships, against a formidable Japanese armada of over 130 vessels. The situation was utterly hopeless, a suicide mission by any standard. This was the moment of the Battle of Myeongnyang, a legend etched into the soul of Korea. The Nanjung Ilgi entries leading up to Myeongnyang are filled with his anxieties, his prayers, and his desperate pleas for his men to remember their duty. He uttered the famous words, "He who seeks death will live, and he who seeks life will die." This was not just a rallying cry, it was a testament to his profound sense of Jeong, a deep, invisible bond of affection and loyalty that connected him to his men and them to him. They would follow him to certain death, knowing he would not ask them to do what he himself wouldn't. Yi chose the Myeongnyang Strait, a narrow, treacherous waterway known for its powerful, unpredictable currents. He understood the terrain better than anyone. As the massive Japanese fleet entered the strait, Yi strategically deployed his few ships, using the powerful currents to his advantage, turning the natural elements into a weapon. His ships, armed with superior cannons, focused fire on the enemy's lead vessels, causing panic and disarray. The Japanese, disoriented by the currents and the ferocity of the Korean attack, turned on each other in the chaos. Against all odds, Yi Sun-sin secured an astonishing, almost miraculous victory, sinking over 30 Japanese ships and forcing the rest to retreat in disarray. The Nanjung Ilgi records the sheer exhaustion and relief of this day, a turning point that arguably saved Korea. Yi Sun-sin continued his relentless struggle for the remaining years of the war. He tirelessly rebuilt his fleet, secured vital supply lines, and continued to repel Japanese incursions. His efforts, though often met with internal bureaucratic resistance, were instrumental in the eventual withdrawal of Japanese forces. But fate, it seemed, had one final, cruel twist. In 1598, during the final naval engagement of the war, the Battle of Noryang, Noh, Yi Sun-sin was mortally wounded by a stray bullet. His last words, as recorded by his son and nephew, were emblematic of his entire life. "The battle is at its height. Do not announce my death." He understood that the morale of his men was paramount to securing the final victory. His life, from beginning to end, was a testament to selfless duty, strategic brilliance, and the profound human capacity for resilience in the face of unimaginable suffering. His Nanjung Ilgi, a chronicle of both triumph and torment, stands as an enduring monument to this extraordinary man, whose name truly deserves to be spoken in the same breath as Horatio Nelson, perhaps even with a deeper understanding of the unique human struggles he overcame. The story of Admiral Yi Sun-sin, laid bare in the raw, unvarnished pages of the Nanjung Ilgi, transcends mere military history. It becomes a profound meditation on leadership, sacrifice, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. For centuries, he has been revered in Korea, his statue standing tall in the heart of Seoul's Gwanghwamun Square, his image gracing the nation's currency, and his legend woven into the very fabric of national identity. But what specific insights can we glean from his life, particularly as documented in his personal war diary, that resonate with our modern understanding of effective, ethical leadership? And why does he warrant comparison with global icons like Admiral Lord Nelson? First, consider the extraordinary blend of strategic brilliance and profound empathy. Nelson was renowned for his tactical genius, his ability to inspire his men, and his audacious spirit. Yi Sun-sin shared these traits in abundance. His innovative use of the Geobukseon turtle ship and the Hakikjin crane wing formation were technological and tactical masterpieces, allowing him to consistently decimate numerically superior Japanese fleets. But what the Nanjung Ilgi reveals with heartbreaking clarity is the human cost that weighed heavily on his soul. His entries are filled with laments for his fallen soldiers, his anxieties about the well-being of his men, and his deep sorrow over the suffering of the Korean populace. This profound sense of Jung, a deep, invisible bond of affection and loyalty, was not a weakness but a wellspring of strength. His men fought for him not just out of discipline, but out of a deep reciprocal bond of trust and respect. They knew he truly cared for them. This level of emotional connection, documented in his own hand, adds a unique depth to his leadership, portraying him as a figure who led with both mind and heart. Second, Yi Sun-sin's story is a stark lesson in resilience against not one, but two formidable enemies: the external invader and the internal political sabotage. Nelson, while facing significant challenges and personal controversies, operated within a generally supportive, if sometimes bureaucratic, imperial system. Yi, however, was repeatedly undermined by a Joseon court riddled with factionalism, jealousy, and corruption. He was falsely accused, imprisoned, tortured, and stripped of his command, forced to serve as a common soldier, an act known as Bahgwi Janggun, literally serving in white clothes. Yet through all this humiliation and suffering, his commitment to his nation never wavered. The Nanjung Ilgi serves as a testament to his indomitable spirit, his refusal to be broken by injustice. This resilience, this ability to rise from the ashes of betrayal and lead his nation to victory with a shattered fleet, makes his achievements arguably even more remarkable than many of his Western counterparts. He embodied a powerful form of Han, not as passive victimhood, but as a righteous indignation that fueled his relentless drive for justice and victory. Third, Yi Sun-sin's life provides an invaluable model for ethical leadership in a time of crisis. In an era where leaders often put personal gain or political expediency above public service, Yi consistently prioritized his nation's survival and the welfare of his people. His meticulous planning, his rigorous discipline, and his refusal to compromise on strategic principles, even when it meant defying direct royal orders or risking further persecution, demonstrate a profound moral compass. This commitment to integrity, even in the face of death, makes him a timeless archetype of principled leadership. For modern Korea, Yi is not just a historical figure. He is a moral compass, a touchstone for discussions on responsibility, integrity, and patriotism, especially relevant in an era of rapid change and complex global challenges. His story reminds us that true leadership is forged not in comfort, but in the crucible of adversity, where character is tested and true values revealed. The Imjin War was a period of unimaginable horror for Joseon, yet from its depths emerged a leader whose story continues to inspire. The Nanjung Ilgi allows us to walk alongside Yi Sun-sin, to feel his anxieties, his grief over his mother's passing, his frustration with incompetent officials, and his unwavering determination. It is a testament to the fact that even the greatest heroes are profoundly human, wrestling with doubts, fears, and immense personal suffering. This human dimension is precisely what elevates Yi Sun-sin beyond a mere military legend. He is a symbol of resilience, a beacon of integrity, and a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. His victories were not just tactical, they were moral and they were profoundly human. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's story, as revealed through his deeply personal Nanjung Ilgi, offers a timeless narrative of extraordinary leadership forged in the crucible of war, internal betrayal, and profound human struggle. He was a man who, against all conceivable odds, secured his nation's survival, leaving behind an undefeated legacy of naval brilliance and unwavering integrity. His life and diary invite us to consider what truly constitutes greatness in a leader. Is it merely the tally of victories, or is it the unwavering spirit, the moral fortitude, and the deep human connection forged in the face of impossible challenges? Yi Sun-sin faced an external enemy vastly superior in numbers and resources, and an internal enemy of political intrigue and betrayal that arguably posed an even greater threat to his command. Yet he persevered, demonstrating a level of resilience and strategic genius that stands shoulder to shoulder with any naval commander in history, including the revered Admiral Horatio Nelson. While Nelson commanded the mighty Royal Navy, he had to build his fleet from scarcity, battle his own court, and ultimately sacrifice his life to secure the final victory. His last words, not to announce his death in the heat of battle, encapsulate a life lived entirely for his country, a testament to selfless duty above all else. The Nanjung Ilgi is more than a historical document. It is a profound human testament. It allows us to glimpse the raw emotions of a leader who wept for his lost mother, worried about his starving soldiers, and wrestled with profound moral dilemmas, all while carrying the weight of a nation on his shoulders. This diary ensures that Yi Sun-sin is remembered not just as a mythical war hero, but as a deeply relatable, intensely human figure whose struggles and triumphs offer universal lessons in courage, resilience, and the true meaning of duty. His legacy continues to inspire modern Korea, a testament to the enduring power of his story and the universal appeal of a leader who, in the darkest of times, chose integrity, duty, and unwavering hope. Admiral Yi Sun-sin is a name that truly deserves to resonate across the globe, a paragon of human spirit whose unseen struggles paved the way for an extraordinary, unforgettable triumph.